Hello everyone, welcome to Fogg's Cards and Things. We're ready to break boxes and rip packs. But first we need you to subscribe to our channel. Like this video. It lets us know to keep making videos like this. It costs you nothing, but it means the world to me. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Yeah, you. Subscribe, like, hit the button so we can get onto the cards. Alright, there you go. Thank you so much. Now let's get ripping. Hello everybody, thanks for tuning in to Fogg's Cards and Things again. We're going to be going over a box of 1992 Series 1 football cards. Breaking this box down, as you can see from the front. Kodak must have sponsored them during the 1992 production. They put their emblem on the front. We're going to take a look at the packs. Give me just a second here. So they're just normal plastic wrapper packs. I'm going to open up one. We'll go over the card real quick just to see. What they look like. So the front of the card obviously just has a picture of them, their name, their team, stadium club at the bottom. The back kind of rates their skills. That was kind of a neat feature. And then it has a picture of their rookie card over on the right hand side. Of course, the card that was put out by Topps. There are a couple different variations of base cards. I don't think they have any inserts, but if they do, we'll come to them and we'll see what they've got. All right, so our first player here is Howard Cross. Herschel Walker. A decent running back during the day. We'll put him back there in the running back club. Kevin Porter for the Kansas City Chiefs. Anybody that knows me knows I'm going to keep all the Chiefs. Jesse Solomon, Andre Collins, Harry Newsome, Brian Washington. Oh, wow, already first pack. We're going to go ahead and sleeve up old Emmitt Smith there. It's an awesome looking card for the Cowboys. Yep, Emmitt Smith there. Looks good. There's his rookie card in the back. Put him in front of the running back club right now. Broderick Thomas, good linebacker for the Buccaneers. Leonard Russell, Richmond Webb, Stan Thomas, Richard Dent, and Dwayne Bickett. Just went over the first pack just to see if we saw anything different, but I'll usually rip about 3 packs at a time. Just helps it not take forever. If you do see any cards you like or something you like to collect from certain teams, just drop a comment, send us a message. We'll see what we can do to work out and get that card to you. All right, let's see our first big stack here, what we've got. DeMonte Dawson, Neil Anderson, Ken Norton. We'll put him in our defensive club. Good linebacker there for the Cowboys. He also played for the 49ers. Rod Woodson here. I know that's Aeneas Williams. They're kind of... Aeneas Williams was a good defender as well. Rod Woodson. Started off primarily as a kick returner, I think. Zordick. Bob Golick, Mike Farr, insert, Chris Burkett, Felix Wright, Johnny Hector, Eric Swan. There's a good defensive end there for the Cardinals. Eric Tom, Kevin Glover, Gil Bird, Wes Hopkins. These cards are turned every which way. Faulkner, Ricky Jackson. He's good outside linebacker for the Saints. Robert Wilson, Jerry Ball, Garner, Pfeiffer, Ronnie Lott, there's another good defender. Anthony Thompson. Leon Seals. Loudermilk. Marion Butts. Chief here, Rob Thomas. Not the singer of Matchbox 20. Michkowski. Checklist. Mike Pitts. Kevin McCants. Wendell Davis. Pete Stojakovic. Heck of a kicker there for the Dolphins. Steve Wisnowski. Good offensive lineman for the Raiders. Matt Barr. Michael Brooks. Calvin Williams. Dwayne White. Chip Lowmiller. Eric Kramer. Chris Singleton. Alright, so these cards are kind of turned around. If I don't recognize the name, I'm just going to read it off the back as we move it over. Again, if you see any cards you like, drop a comment. Send us a message. We'll see what we can do to work something out and get you that card. If you haven't liked and subscribed, I appreciate it if you would. It helps out the channel a lot. And just like anything we sell, I mean, we just go into buying more boxes to make more videos. So hope you'd consider liking, following, subscribing. Whatever we can do to maybe help grow the channel. Doesn't cost you anything, but means the world to me. Yeah, I don't know what in the world is up with these cards, but they are all kinds of directions. Simon Fletcher for the Broncos. Derek Russell. David Richards. David Alexander. Jeff Herod. Mike Pritchard. Eddie Anderson. Kenneth Davis. Pat Swilling. He was a good linebacker there for the Saints. Mark Duper. Barry Word. Kansas City Chiefs. Louis Aguiar, punter for the Jets here, also played for the Kansas City Chiefs for a while. Dino Hackett, another Chief. We got Mark Bortz. Shane Conlon. Gil Finnerty. Nick Lowry, great kicker there for the Chiefs. Terrence Mathis there for the Jets. Newsome. Don Griffin for the 49ers. John Roper. Eugene Robinson. Michael Carter for the 49ers. Mo Gardner. Andre Waters. Kazerski. Tommy Kane. Mike Ken. Dwight Stone. George Jameson. Michael Haynes. Legman. Wesley Carroll. Greg Cragen. Eric Howard. Ernest Givens. This is a first variation. I'll just take a second and point this one out unless we find a better one later, obviously. Member's Choice. So on most cards it says the team there, but on this one it says Member's Choice. Walter Reeves. Mark Collins. Ray Horton. James Thornton. Mike Kroll. Barry Kemp. Jeff Bostic. Mike Merriweather. Now that three pack was not too good. I'm going to get some of these commons out of the way. Who was your favorite person to collect? Were you able to collect any of your favorite players back at this time? Any pack ripping going on? I know for a lot of us it was the same people, unless we happen to, really like someone local. I'm from Kansas City, so I really enjoyed Derek Thomas, but I also collected a lot of Neil Smith, which people around here knew about, but maybe not everyone around, maybe not known on a national level. All right, let's see what we've got here. insert. Yeah, these cards are definitely sorted funny. Oops. All right, let's see what this 3-pack series has to offer. Hopefully more than the other one. Curtis Duncan, Ron Hall, Tony Marinich, Steve Mongo McMichael, Doug Smith. That card is terribly off-centered, top to bottom. Marvin Washington, Blackman, Brett Maxey there for the Saints, Darian Connor, Kevin Mack, Cortez Kennedy. He's on the member's choice there. It's easy to miss those, but he was a great defensive tackle. Clay Matthews, another Chief here, Tim Barnett, TJ Turner, Vance Johnson, Jim Arnold, punter for the Lions, Mark Sheriff, Mecklenburg, Jesse Tuggle, good linebacker for the Falcons. Howie Long, he was a pretty feared defender. We'll put him up there. Haven't got to put too many people up on our club section today. Johnson, Janger, Whittle, Tim McGee, Sean Landetta, another punter. Derek Thomas. There we go. Just when we said we hadn't seen too many. We've got 2 in a row if I see that last card correctly. Derek Thomas. And then this one here is Michael Irvin. So a couple good cards in a row there. Get him sleeved up. He'll be the first Receiver Club member today. Jim Lachey, Leonard Russell, Richmond Webb, Stan Tomlins, Richard Dent, Dwayne Bickett, Howard Cross, Herschel Walker again, Kevin Porter, Jesse Solomon, Andre Collins, John Williams, Melvin Jenkins, David Griggs, Craver, and Jackson. So that series wasn't too bad. Picked up a Michael Irvin, picked up a Derek Thomas. I was just talking about how he was one of the cards I collected as a kid. Definitely enjoyed any time we could pull a Derek Thomas. Was there anybody that you just were tickled when you got them, you know? You're just kind of like, oh yeah, that's a good card. Had to go show your buddies and see if they wanted to trade you for maybe one you wanted a little bit more. James Washington here. Jonathan Hayes for the Chiefs. Rodney Hampton for the Giants. All right, I don't understand a pattern here, but I suppose there probably is one. All right, let's see if we can go through this stack here. James Francis, Todd Light, Lawrence Gosney, Reggie Cobb, Nate Lewis, Stephen Baker, Dave Maggot, Lewis, Browner, Harlow, Millen, Haynes, Legman, Carroll, and Cragen, Eric Howard, Rod Woodson. I think that's a double of him. Stepnoski, Nate Newton, very good offensive lineman for the Cowboys. Got Joe Walter and Ernest Biner, James Thornton, Mike Kroll, Perry Kemp, Bostic, Merriweather, Calvin Williams, Michael Brooks, Barr, Wisniewski, Pete Stojakovic, David Johnson, Bill Romanowski, another one for our Defenders Club up there. All right, we have Chip Lohmeyer, Eric Kramer, Damone Johnson, Chris Singleton, Trace Armstrong, Charles McCray, Fred McAfee, and Dwayne White. Let me get a little pile of these commons out of the way here. Be a good time to like and subscribe to the video if you haven't already. Like I said earlier, doesn't cost you a thing, but definitely means the world to me. Nearing what I would guess will be the halfway point of this box, which will keep us around that half-hour mark that most boxes take us to get through. If you see any cards you like, drop a comment, send us a message, see what we can do to get them to you. Some people ask why I wear the gloves. Some people appreciate that I wear them. You know, if we get you a card, just know we haven't touched it. There'll be no oils or remnants of food that some people sometimes get on their cards. All right, let's see what we've got here. Curtis Duncan, Ron Hall, Andrich Mongo, McMichael again, Doug Smith, Marvin Washington, Blackman, Brett Maxey, Darian Connor, Kevin Mack, Ken Harvey, Sam Mills, good linebacker there for the Saints. Herman Moore, he's a good receiver. We'll put him with Michael Irvin, keep him some company. Donald Evans, Gilbert, Montgomery, Tim Green, good linebacker for the Falcons. Kids author now. Tony Castilla is way off center again with another card at the bottom. Millard, Horton, McDaniel, Wooden, Henley, Dishman. Again. Guess they're going to come in the same order. We haven't got any good quarterbacks yet, but got another Derek Thomas, another Michael Irvin. All right, let's see what else we have. Lachey, Wilson, Ricky Jackson, good linebacker for the Saints. Barry, Moss, McMurtry, Lee, Keller, Joyner. Looks a little off center, top to bottom, but Seth Joyner was a decent outside linebacker for the Eagles. Jacob Green, Copeland, Neil O'Donnell, one of the few quarterbacks we've got. Unfortunately, not somebody I would collect. Wes Hopkins, Gilbert, Kent Hull. All right, so I think that brings us closer to the halfway point here. Hope you're enjoying the video. Let us know in the comments if you have a favorite card that we pulled today. Back in this era, they're not tough pulls. You know, they made millions of every single card. I think I've somewhat got the pattern here, but it still boggles my mind that they're every which way. All right. Let's see what we've got here. We've already got a decent quarterback there on the top, Mr. Warren Moon. Be the first one in the quarterback club over there. Steve Jordan, Ricky Sanders, Bill Moss for the Chiefs, Rich Gannon, Gary Plummer, Irving Fryer, he was a good receiver. John Vaughn, Ballard, Reggie White, great defender. Ken Norton again, double for him. Neil Anderson, Jim Everett, don't call him Chris. Vernon Turner, Williams, Richard, Johnny Meads, Ed King, Carney, Camarillo, Gary Anderson, Norm Johnson, J.B. Brown, Louis Sharp, Keith Jackson, good tight end there for the Eagles. Mark Clayton, Eddie Brown, Harris Barton, Lanier, Simmons, Chris Miller for the Falcons, John Elway. It's a good card right there. Mr. John Elway. Jim Jeffcoat, Anthony Johnson, Tim Harris, Lewis Oliver, Martin Mayhew, Herod, Armstrong, McCray, McAfee, Stephen Baker, and Lamar Lathan. Appreciate you taking time out of your day to hang out with us. If you're thinking about buying these boxes, I certainly wouldn't do it to make money. You know, a lot of us do it for fun, to just see the cards. If you're after a special card, more than likely you can find it for a couple bucks on eBay at most. So I wouldn't go buy boxes just to burn through it and hope you get the card you want. I mean, chances are you might, but if you just go buy a $1 or $2 card off eBay or whatnot or whatever, then you'll have the card you want for sure. Simon Fletcher, Derek Russell, David Richards, Alexander, Herod, Roper, Robinson, Michael Carter, Mo Gardner, Andre Waters, Members Choice, Anthony Carter. Saying you don't buy them to grade them. You know, that printing's flawed there. So if this was like a high dollar card, just wouldn't make sense. Jonathan Hayes there for the Chiefs. James Washington, Nick Lowry again, Terrence Mathis, Newsom, Griffin, Bortz, Conlon, Dino Hackett for the Chiefs again, Louis Aguiar, Barry Word, Johnson, Bill Romanowski, that's the second time we've seen him, Campen, Art Monk, he was a good receiver there for the Redskins, Thurman Thomas, good running back of his time, Warren Moon's second shot at him, Steve Jordan, Ricky Sanders, Bill Moss again for the Chiefs, Gannon, Plummer, Irving Fryer, second time we've seen him as well, John Vaughn, Ballard, Reggie White. I don't know if, yeah, he's up there on the front of the defensive club still. There's an Emmitt Smith. Get him sleeved up there. Broderick Thomas on the Members Choice. He was a good linebacker for the Buccaneers. Herman Moore, good receiver for the Lions. Donald Evans. All right, getting to the probably 2/3 point now. Got quite a few more packs to go. Do 3 at a time just so we hope it doesn't take as long, but the cards being a million different directions has not helped us. I've opened boxes at Stadium Club before and I don't remember it being like this, but doesn't mean it wasn't. I've opened a lot of boxes. See what we've got here. Chris Jackie, I see, is the first card. He's a great kicker for the Green Bay Packers. Asera Tawalaua. There we go. Still a little short on quarterbacks, but now we've got our, well, at least the 2 running backs I would be after, Barry Sanders and Emmitt Smith. Actually, I need to get some of these commons out of the way first. That's one thing you certainly get when you do this. You get a lot of common cards. Around Christmas time, I get albums, donate the albums and card pages. We have a couple places that have foster kids, so hopefully we get some of the boys into card collecting or, you know, some kind of good habits. Tim McKyer, Carlton Bailey, Bruce Matthews, Mags, Rosenberg, Dan Salimua for the Chiefs, Pritchard, Andy Heck, Checklist, John Freeze, quarterback for the Chargers, Landetta, Galbraith, Montgomery, Tim Green again, definitely the second time we've seen him, Millard, Ethan Horton, McDaniel, Wooden, Henley, Dishman, Holman, Jerome Brown, Michael Jackson, not the singer, Reeves, Collins, Barry, Moss, McMurtry, Carl Lee, McKellar, Seth Joyner, terribly off-centered, Jacob Green, Danny Copeland, Neil O'Donnell, Stan Brock, Ray Horton, Ruzek, Mark Murphy, and Ilkin. Tunch Ilkin. Alright, let's just empty the box out just to see how many cards we've got left. We've got a few packs left. Looks like we've got a couple more rounds. Probably 3 more after this. Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders, the Derek Thomas. You know, those are definitely highlights of this break for me. What's not a highlight is the way they have these cards structured. Don't know what it is that I'm not understanding, but they are flipped all sorts of which ways. Got a Chief there on the top. Chris Martin. Eric Metcalf. Tom Waddle, terribly off-centered again. Charles Mann. Offerdahl, Talley. Darrell Green. There's a good defender there for the Redskins. Evans, Lewis, Nate Newton again, second time we've seen him. Biner, John Williams, Jenkins, Jim Harbaugh, good quarterback. Matt Stover, Mark Rippon, Charles Wilson, Atkins, Johnson, Gossett, Jumbo Elliott, Keith Van Horn, Griggs, Craver, Vesty Jackson, Tim McGee, Kelm, Kyle Clifton, Dombrowski, John Alt for the Chiefs, Chris Spielman, Eric Martin, Kevin Gogan, Randy Hilliard, Brad Muster, Tony Page, Henderson, Hampton, Jonathan Hayes there for the Chiefs, James Washington. All right, I'm going to do 2 packs here, then we'll have 2 stacks of 3 left. Nearing the end here, not impressed with the quarterback selection, that's for sure. 2 main running backs of the time, I think we've got both them. But I'd like to see a few more quarterbacks. Joe Montana, Steve Young. There's several of this time. But I'd like to see. Maybe we'll get it in our final 8 packs here. Lanier, Clyde Simmons, Chris Miller again, John Elway for the second time. We'll sleeve him up just because we haven't seen a lot of quarterbacks. John Elway was a good quarterback. Enjoyed watching him play even though I was a Chiefs fan. Jim Jeffcoat, Johnson, Harris, Oliver, Mayhew, Harrod, Stone, Jameson, Givens, Reeves, Collins, Chris Martin for the Chiefs, Metcalf, Waddle, Charles Mann, John Offerdahl, linebacker for the Dolphins, Talley, Darrell Green, definitely at least the second time, if not the third time we've seen him, Michael Stewart, TJ Turner, Vance Johnson, Wendell Davis, Keith McCants, and Kenneth Davis. All right, 6 packs left, and we're going to cross our fingers for a quarterback other than John Elway. Appreciate your time today, stopping in to hang out with us. Would appreciate if you hit that follow button, subscribe button, the like button. Just let us know you're engaging with the content. You know, nothing worse than making videos and not knowing if anybody is liking them. Should you keep making them? So if you subscribe and like, doesn't cost you a thing, but like I said, it just means the world to me. Motivates me to keep making videos and hanging out with you all once in a while. saw Bill Romanowski in there again, so hopefully not just repeat packs here. Nick Bell, Marcus Allen, good running back at the time. Johnny Holland, Ronnie Harmon, Hilliard, Williams, Jenkins, Griggs, Craver, Bestie Jackson, Eugene Daniel, John Hand, Bobby Hebert, Bo Orlando, Keith DeLong for the 49ers, Eddie Brown, Harris Barton, Cortez Kennedy. That one's cut real shallow. You can tell the difference. You know, how far away they are. Clay Matthews, Tim Barnett for the Chiefs, Lyman Henderson, Gogan, Randy Hilliard, Brad Muster, Tony Page, Kyle Clifton, John Alt for the Chiefs here. Is that one or two cards? I feel like there's another one there. Dombrowski, Chris Spielman, Eric Martin, Howie Long. I think we have one up there, but it won't hurt. John Kidd, Waddell, Sam Mills, Herman Moore again, receiver for the Lions, Donald Evans, David Johnson, Bill Romanowski, definitely seen him, Sheriff Mecklenburg, Jesse Tuggle, and Vincent Brown. All right, folks, 3 more packs to go. You're with me. Cross your fingers as well. I'll open packs and cross my toes and hope for a Montana. Hope for somebody else out of here. Not a lot of hits in this box, that's for sure. All right, let's see what we've got here. All right, let's see what we've got. Chuck Cecil, Williams, Richter, Johnny Meads, Ed King, John Carney, Camarillo, Anderson, Norm Johnson, J.B. Brown, Ray Horton, Ruzek, Harry Newsom, Steve Wallace for the 49ers, Brian Washington, Leon Seals. A lot of these are miscut. Maybe I'm better off not getting a good card that's miscut. That would just probably upset me worse than not getting the card. Ronnie Lott, I think that's the second time we've seen him. Gardner, Jerry Ball, James Campen, Art Monk, I know we've seen him. Thurman Thomas, I think we've seen him as well. Good running back for the Bills. Anthony Carter, Dave Meggett, Jim Harbaugh, quarterback for the Bears, current coach. His brother as well. Mark Rippon, Charles Wilson, Gene Atkins, Tim Johnson, Jeff Gossett, Jumbo Elliott, Scott Fullage, Van Horn, Eddie Anderson, Mike Pritchett, Lorenzo White, Andre Rison. He's a good receiver for a time. And Pepper Johnson. So I'm going to go over a few of the cards we got today just to recap. Howie Long, Darryl Green, Broderick Thomas, Reggie White, Derek Thomas, Bill Romanowski, Ronnie Lott, Rod Woodson, Ken Norton. The receivers club was Andre Rison, Art Monk, Michael Irvin, Herman Moore, Michael Irvin again. Key running backs, Marcus Allen, Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith, Thurman Thomas, Emmitt Smith, Herschel Walker. In the quarterbacks club, we had John Elway twice and Warren Moon. That was it. So kind of short on this box as far as turnout, but sometimes that happens. Thanks for spending some time with us. Have a great day, and God bless.